Good evening. Hello, Radio Land. Welcome to another Dream Makers Internet and Radio Show. Again, you know, we celebrate Black History 365 days a year. And tonight we have the spotlight on Madam C.J. Walker, who is a self-made millionaire, which is significant, which means that she pulled up her own self, worked hard, didn't have to ask anybody per se financially, so to speak, for help, but she was able to pull it off, and we'll talk about that briefly. Now, we do have a couple of guests calling in tonight. The first one will be Arkita DeBerry, who will inform us on what's going on. As we know of us, if you've not heard, her husband was fatally shot and killed a few months ago, back in 2017. By, we believe, a gang member, although her husband, and I want to make sure we get the record straight, was not in a gang. It could have happened to me or anyone, but he just happened to be shot by what we believe suspect or actual gang member. So hopefully she'll be calling in about 2 or 3 minutes. And then at 8:30, we will have our guest, the president of the International Organization for Working Churches, Manus Edwards. But before they come, our subject tonight, Mr. Manus will deal with is how can we create more African-American businesses in this country? We have some, but we need more of them, majorly speaking, if I might be using the right word, not necessarily minoring, but we need one that major organizations to help us get out of the light of economic downturn that we've been in for a number of years in this great country that we call our home, America. So where do we go wrong with the lack of Black businesses? We want to finish off tonight with Mr. Edwards, a national president of the International Organization of Working Churches. And again, we want to acknowledge Earl Winfrey, the other Winfrey in our country, who's doing well with an and want to be also work along with him to help us bring forth the message of the truth to the people who are in Chicago. Let's open up with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you again for these particular come through these airwaves each and every day here in this beautiful suburban area in Chicago. And we thank you again for the producers. Bless us as we discuss tonight, how can we move forward and bring more businesses to our people here in this country? In Jesus' name, amen. It is about 8:03, so feel free, Ms. DeBerry, if you want to call in now. The number is 708-223-80. So feel free if you want to do that even now, but we definitely estimated about 8:05 for you to call in. We want to know what's going on with the movement out there, with the death of your husband, who was fatally shot and killed, I believe, back in the last week in September, if my memory serves me correctly. But she will call in and then we will move forward. And the reason why I'm bringing her in to set the record straight is tomorrow we are going to canvass the neighborhood and continue passing out leaflets and things like that. Okay? All righty. We have Sister Goodrich on the line.
Hello.
Hello. How are you tonight?
I'm doing okay.
Great. Well, we are so glad that you were able to call in tonight. It's perfect timing because tomorrow I know there is an event, or should I say, we're going to canvass the neighborhood. And the main question I have for you tonight, and you can add anything else to it, is where can the people who are interested in canvassing the neighborhood meet us at tomorrow night at 6 p.m.?
Anyone who would like to go out and help participate in passing out rewards at 6 p.m. We will be having orange clothing on, so we'll be noticeable out there.
Great. Great. Anything else you want to add as far as the investigation? How is that coming right along?
As now, there's still no solid lead, so that's why we're still going out, canvassing, passing out the reward flyers, just trying to get any information out there to get any information back.
Very good. Very good. So, thing is, you want to tell the listening audience, otherwise, we will be out there tomorrow at 6 p.m.
That the weather has broken.
Yes.
Warm out there, so just everybody be cautious, be vigilant, and just be careful out here.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you again for calling in. I know you've got to make more plans and get ready for tomorrow night, and I will see you all tomorrow night. Okay?
6 p.m. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate that.
Okay. Thank you again.
Goodbye now. Bye-bye.
All right.
And there you have it again, Mrs. Goodrich, and the wife of our good brother, Tony Goodrich, who was very faithful in terms of helping me as I was pastoring a church in that neighborhood, not far from there, so to speak, but in that neighborhood, the church was Fernwood United Methodist Church, and he would go out with me neighborhood. So I certainly want to continue this movement in his honor, to keep him alive in this manner by going out there. And we're praying, and we want you to pray here for us in Chicago. If you're listening from other parts across the country and can't be with us, understandable, but feel free to pray for Tony Goodrich's family, Sister Arkita Goodrich, as the wife of the deceased brother, who was a great friend of mine and an awesome person. So let us continue to pray for him. On our program tonight, again, we have a self-made millionaire. We are talking about businesses. So what greater person to discuss in that of Madam C.J. Walker. Madam C.J. Walker's official name, that being a name that wasn't an American entrepreneur, but her name was Sarah Breedlove. She was born December the 23rd, 1867, and passed on May 25th, which is coming up, her anniversary of her death in 1919. And again, she was known as Madam C.J. Walker, an African-American entrepreneur, a philanthropist, and a political and social activist. She's eulogized as the first female self-made millionaire in the United States. She became one of the wealthiest African-American women in the country, the world's most successful female entrepreneur of her time, and one of the most successful African-American business owners ever. Walker made her fortune by developing and marketing a line of beauty and hair products for Black women through Madam C.J. Walker Manufacturing Company. The successful business she founded, Walker was also known for her philanthropic ways. She's a philanthropist and an activist. She made financial donations to numerous organizations and became a patron of the arts. Villa Lawawa, Walker's lavish estate in Irvington, Hudson, New York, served as a social gathering place for African-American community. Now, early on in her life, she was born again December 23rd, 1867, right around the Emancipation Proclamation becoming to effect the ending of slavery, near Delta, Louisiana, to the Owen and Minerva Anderson Breedlove. And she was one of 6 children, I hope you're listening, which included an older sister, Lovinia, and 4 brothers, Alexander, James, Solomon, and Owens Jr. Breedlove's parents and her older siblings were enslaved on Robert W. Burnham's Madison's Parish Plantation. Again, Parish in Louisiana, considered as county. On that county's plantation is where her parents grew up. But Sarah was the first child in her family born into freedom. As I said earlier, she was born into freedom after the Emancipation Proclamation, was signed. Her mother died, possibly from cholera in 1872, which was a disease very well known and prevalent back then, not so as now because of all the wonderful medical technologies or advancements we've made. But her father remarried, but he died within a few years. So now this child is orphaned at the age of 7. So Sarah moves to Vicksburg, Mississippi at the age of 10 and worked as a domestic. And I had the pleasure of visiting Vicksburg quite a bit because the college where I graduated from is only about 29, 30 miles from Vicksburg. And that college, again, where I graduated was Alcorn State, or Alcorn State, as some would call up north, but we call it in the South, Alcorn State University. Prior to her first marriage, she lived with her older sister, Lavinia, and her brother-in-law, Jesse Pye. And in 1882, at the age of 14, Sarah married Moses McWilliams, possibly to escape the mistreatment from her brother-in-law. Now, in her career in 1888, Sarah and her daughter moved to St. Louis, Missouri. That's a city where I spent a lot of time. I went to graduate school for 1 year at the University of Missouri in Columbia and spent a lot of time in St. Louis just to relax, and was dating at that time. So that was a great time. And St. Louis is still a great city to visit. But in this case, it says where 3 of her brothers live, Sarah found work as a laundress, barely earning more than $1 a day, but she was determined to make enough money to provide for her daughter with a formal education. During the 1880s, Breedlove lived in a community where ragtime music was developed, and she sang at the St. Paul African Methodist Episcopal Church and started to yearn for an educated life as she watched the community of women at her church. Now, initially, she learned about hair care from her brothers, who were barbers in St. Louis. Around the time of the Purchase Exposition, the World's Fair at St. Louis in 1904, she became a commission agent. So we'll go ahead and bring on Manus Edwards so he can have a lot of great time to share with us about the organization we talked about earlier. Let's give it up for Manus Edwards. How you doing, Mr. Edwards?
How are you?
We're glad to have you tonight to call in and spend some time with us as a wonderful guest. I know my producer who's here, he was very impressed with you. Of course, I am always impressed with you, with the knowledge that you share with the listening audience. And so we're on tiptoe anticipation of the knowledge to share about this organization that many Chicagoans over 50 or under 50 may not have heard about, and some people over 50 who've not heard about this wonderful organization called the International Organization of Working Churches, which we believe, you and I and many people that we've talked to, can get our African Americans or Black people out of the economic doldrums that we are in. Mr. Edwards, you have the floor if you were in the room, but you are in the room actually with your voice. So we thank God for you. You got it now. Go ahead and talk to us.
Boy, it's going to be hard to come behind that.
Oh, no, you're good.
I would like to say I'm glad you're back and you made it safe. Hopefully everybody's okay, right?
Yes, everyone is okay. Thank you for asking.
You had a wonderful trip, right?
Yes, I did, to Birmingham, Alabama. We went to a graduation in Birmingham, Brother Winfrey, on Saturday. I may have gotten the first night there about 45 minutes of sleep. And the second night, and of course, last night was some good sleep. So I'm wide-eyed and bushy-tailed now, Mr. Edwards, to hear from you tonight. Yes.
Oh, boy, it's a pleasure talking to you.
Oh, thank you.
And it's a pleasure having met you. You know, you're as old as my oldest daughter.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
My daughter, she'll be 50. She'll be 52.
Yes.
Aaron, didn't I tell you she would be 53?
Yes.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
No, it's 52.
52, right. 52. She and I both were born in 1966. Brother Earl,
That's
my birthday
right.
was yesterday, actually.
But I had two
Thank you.
daughters born in 66.
That's
and
great.
The other one, she'll be 52 October 22nd.
All righty. I got them
Yeah,
beat by just a few months there then. So.
But listen,
Yes, sir.
I guess I would like for the listening audience to understand how elated I've been for the last 6 years in following wherever this organization would lead me. And let me preface my comments by saying that I had just spun out of, in 1990, November 4th, 1990, Chicago, we ran the Harold Washington, and we got our tails whipped pretty bad. I've been to that point, and still am, a lifelong Democrat.
Yes.
And, well, naturally, the Harold Washington Party was organization. And I thought that I was pretty swift with politics since I don't know anything else.
Yes.
But some brothers that's come close to me, and you drink with them, and you golf with them, you do everything with them, and you think they're only legit. Well, the Harold Washington Party, we started it with trying to run a slate of candidates statewide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now this is the party, the Harold Washington Party, after Timothy Evans ran and secured his spot as the Harold Washington. I mean, yeah, he had run to secure his spot for the judge, for the I'm trying to think, what was he? The circuit court judge, right? Chief.
Yes.
Chief. Anyway, a lot happened. I mean, a whole lot happened. We had about 12 candidates running statewide. The state being the superintendent of schools, I believe it was. I forgot her name now. It's been a lot of years ago, buddy.
Yeah.
And we had, for sheriff, Cook County Sheriff, whole lots of folks running, and we had camaraderie and the whole 9 yards. We thought we were doing big time stuff. But what I did not know was that the people who started the Harold Washington Party slate had confidenced everyone. This is black trauma that's never been said in this format before. And I'm in the mix thinking, yeah, I know more than all of them. I just wasn't in the little circle that was doing what they wanted to do, which was to deliver the governor that won the race. That was, what was his name? Jesus, ought to be prepared. Huh?
That's all right.
1990, won the election.
Was that Thompson?
No, that was the guy that went down, was about to go down and resign at 51. No, he didn't resign. He refused to decline to run for re-election.
Okay.
Man. All
yes.
black like me were all supposedly for Democrats.
Okay.
And the whole thing swung to Republican. So the Republican governor was, now how come I can't think of his name? That won the race in 1990.
Okay.
Al Washington Party did not win any, but I have to say we reserved one slot because we gave it to aldermen at the time. We gave that slot. The Al Washington Party voted collectively, to give the slot to 29th Ward alderman, which was so boy, you got to keep up with this stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of information. I think the governor you talking about is that Edgar, Jim Edgar.
Oh yeah, Jim Edgar was the guy that we were all working for and didn't know.
Right.
I'm serious. Yeah. We were all working, and I got taken on that one.
Wow.
And because we were operating under the guise of a Democratic organization, and we were Republican. Now, I remember these guys. I hate to mention names.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to refrain from it. But I remember these guys when they graduated from college and started a political organization back in '65, which and delivered a Republican governor by the name of Ogilvie. You remember him?
Him, I don't think. But that name's familiar, though. Ogilvie. That name is familiar.
There were black Democrats. Some of them young Democrats. It was, these things have, it has to be known. If you don't know what I'm telling you, then you don't know nothing about politics.
Wow, man.
Because we do have capabilities and have utilized them for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And our youth come back and think that they have learned something new and getting ready to try something that's been tried and accomplished. Because Ogilvie went in, I forgot now who he was running against, but whoever the Democrat was didn't win. Didn't win. Well, that same group, let me tell you what the group's name was. The New Breed.
Never heard of that. New Breed.
New Breed, all black. Chicago, well known. Some entrepreneurs, the whole 9 yards. They keep coming back because we never, ever exposed them as to what they doing or not doing. So they came back in 1990 and tricked Judge Bencham, tricked me. I'm one of them. You understand? But I never was with the New Breed. I was a young Democrat. They were both. These black folks, man, young, talented. Black folks. And it just goes on for years. And I hear they're getting ready to bring, he's a little younger than us, but from Vegas, they're getting ready to bring him back to run for governor. The candidate, the candidate, a black candidate for governor. From Vegas. You have any idea who that might be?
That's a good question.
And that's his. Me and his daddy used to run together. I don't know if he's still living, but that's been many years ago. He was in college. Here to run spoiler again. Black. Been doing it for about mentioning names. He ran for city clerk. He ran for mayor 3 times. I think he might have run for something other else.
I know who you're talking about now.
Now you know who I'm talking
Yes, I do. I thought so in the beginning. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, well, that's who it is.
Yes.
And but getting back to 1990 and what I spun out of Squire Lance. He's dead, God bless him. He's one of my mentors. So was John Strozier. And and people do things that you don't forgive them for, but you just separate the politics from the other stuff.
That's true.
And I can deal with it if I deal with you straight up politically. But that friendship stuff, it kind of gets to you.
Oh yes.
But and most people can't get past that. I'm professional at getting past that. If it ain't about politics, I ain't even in it.
I hear you.
You understand? I got my own friends. Yeah. You understand? But I spun out of the 1990 election embarrassed. Nobody knew I was embarrassed because nobody knew that that same crowd from 1965 that was with me running the Harold Washington Party was doing something sinister. They were working for the Republican mayor all along. And I'm going to tell you what I recall. I ran the office of the Harold Washington Party at 83rd and King Drive. Big Jules, abandoned Jules restaurant, a Jules supermarket. And we made and wired it, so they owed me money, I wasn't doing that for free, But when I found out that a week before the election, which was November 6th, 1990, we came to work at that location, 83rd Street, Martin Luther King Drive.
Yes.
And literature was lit. The streets was lit up like I don't know what, with Republican posters everywhere, including our headquarters windows. So you never hear about this stuff,
Yeah.
I was so mad, those days, I carried a pistol every day anyway, I had took some fellas with me to catch up with whoever was doing this, posting, and I caught up with them. But as we were searching for them, I was pulling the posters down in the same block as the Democratic headquarters. I said, this is just total disregard. Who are these people? I didn't think they were white. They ain't that bad. Come up, doing nothing like that. You understand what I'm telling you?
Right.
So we went tearing down all the signs and all that good stuff. A runner caught up with us from our organization, the Harold Washington Party, and he said, "You want it in the office." This is I said maybe 3 or 4 days before the election, because it's just approaching the weekend. I quit, put my other guys, put them to work, stripping until you find somebody to talk to. I went back to headquarters. The guys were putting up their signs all over, everywhere, had permission to do that from my boss. You understand? The new breed.
Yes.
Now, I mean, have you figured out who the new breed is yet?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Huh?
You mentioned black. I know you mentioned some black in there. All
oh,
black.
There's nothing but black.
That's it.
Nothing but black. I'll tell you that one. Both of them dead now. I outlived both of them. That's David Reed and James Hutchinson.
James Hutchinson. Okay.
Yeah. And David Reed, he was the chairman of the party. They took the money, flipped out the whole thing, and I remember old people getting off of CTA buses right there at 83rd and King Drive going south.
Yes.
With $2 and $3 to donate to the campaign. They believed in it that much. I just could not believe it. Now, I said, they got me. And I've been in this game longer than they have. But, I had a few tips and attention to it. There was literature down in the basement. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Democratic literature. That's what was not supposed to be. It's supposed to be on the streets. And they claim we don't have any. All the Democrats' literature is in this great, big, huge. Man, that must have been. It had to have been a couple of $100,000 worth of literature, and not at one time, several times, at different times.
Okay.
And I thought that it was being passed out. It was being passed out, all right, to another place, which I never found out because I thought it was going where it was supposed, where I had designated it to go in various neighborhoods.
Right.
Just to show you what, and I think the same thing. You just witnessed the same thing this last election. It's some high-powered politics in Chicago, boy, I tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't always trust everybody. If you don't walk with them, how you know what they're doing?
That's right. That's so true.
Well, anyway, I spun out of that, and another one of my mentors, which was Squire Lance, told me, he said, "Man, listen, since you got such good labor skills and all that kind of thing, you know what you ought to do?" I said, "Well, what's that, Squire?" He said, Cardinal Bernardine is looking for a project director. A project director for it. He knows I'm Catholic. I'm just not a practicing one.
Right.
I'd rather be at Bethel AME, where I started kindergarten. Started nursery school.
Right.
And my kids don't know enough what a nursery school is. You follow me?
Right.
But that's where the neighborhood took care of each other.
That's right.
Everything, all your needs, they took care of everything. You didn't have to go to white folks.
No.
You understand?
Black church. Black in the black church.
Let's go to the black church. You need a job, read the bulletin board to see who needs what.
That's where it's at.
The black church put its arm around the policy game. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Everybody took care of everybody.
That's what I'm talking about.
Until some of us went with the white folks.
Mm-hmm. Integration and all that.
Therein lies the end.
That's it.
That's where we are today.
That's right.
But no, we got more than enough to take care of ourselves if we just believe we can. But when you have the grown folks not telling and engaging the kids in that kind of activity, it's any young person, anybody in the black neighborhood that wanted to be employed could be.
Could be. That's right.
You can hustle up on anything you want, But Squire had me meet a Reverend what's his name? Reverend Ralph Shaw.
All right.
He was he wasn't a father. No, he wasn't a reverend. He was reverend. I mean, he was a deacon.
Deacon, there you go.
In the Catholic Church.
Yes.
Ralph Shaw.
Yes.
He wrote a program called Working Church Program because he was ordered to do so by
the Cardinal
Bernardine.
There you go.
And the boy can get down, but he didn't know a lot about construction and all that kind of thing. So that's why Squire and labor, that's my strong point. Labor and politics,
That's right.
So so that's how Squire reached out to me. Anyway, I went to see what the guy, Ralph Shaw wanted, and he wants me to run a construction type thing. I say, well, how are we going to get away with this, that, and the other, and all that? He said, don't worry about it. I said, you're talking to a grown man that's been faced with all kind of labor problems. I settle labor disputes and know where to go and whatnot, because you're going to run into problems,
Right.
These folks don't want you working in the first place. I mean, who knows that better than I do? And they set up all kind of traps to trap you, to try to kill your spirit and make you seem like you're lazy. And I'm on to that.
Yeah.
And have been all my life. So there can't no white folks tell me nothing. Never have and never will about what a black man want to do, don't want to do, or nothing else about a black man.
That's right.
But I listened to him. I said, well, what kind of plan you got that white union bosses, most of them are mob run anyway? And, I know some of them. And you don't step on their turf, they don't step on yours.
That's right.
If you know what's happening. But he's telling me, he said, well, no, what we got here is that we got the Catholic Church. This is 1991 now, around January, February. Something else was going on, too, that you need to know politically. Danny Davis was running. Danny Davis was complicit with he was the 29th, I think it was 29th or 29th Ward Alderman. We voted, the Hal Washington Party voted to give him the commissioner spot. The fourth district commissioner slot that Judge his name.
Well, it wasn't Evans, wasn't it?
The judge, no, this is fourth district.
Okay, fourth.
This is commissioner district.
Right.
Cook County Commissioner District.
Okay.
We were running for the president's position and the fourth, and that was come on, boy, help me out here.
Yeah.
I should have prepared this one, but because this is a bomb.
Oh, yes.
The fourth district commissioner was the judge.
Okay.
That was the judge we were running for president of the Cook County Board. He was also running for fourth district commissioner. You can run for both. At the same.
Yes.
that was well, it'll come to me. He accepted the position because we were approaching the general election and we didn't have a person in the slot for president because he lost he lost the president's slot. What is his name? the judge that went pro bono for just about everybody.
Oh, really?
mean, he's fantastic.
Okay.
Huh?
No, I was just listening to you. Oh, judge did that, huh?
Oh yeah, the judge. Oh yeah.
That
he,
judge.
He,
okay.
He gave it to. He gave the position up because he had lost in the primary for Cook County Board Commissioner.
Okay.
So it was no sense for him to run under the Harold Washington party.
Yes, that's right.
For Cook County, commissioner. So he gave it to my boy in 29.
Okay.
He took it and won November 6th, Danny Davis.
Is that right? Okay.
That was the only out of 12 people. We have a slate of 12 people. That position won. The one that was given to Danny Davis because we didn't, we felt like Danny was a good guy and all that good stuff, right? Now remember, this is November 4th,
91, right?
1990.
1990, okay. Okay.
And the mayor's race, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He ran for mayor. And what these blacks did, a gang of them, forced to man, it's awful. They didn't tell Gene Sawyer that they were having a plebiscite.
There you go. Right word, a plebiscite.
And all the players, big time players, was there because the fix was in to put Daley in. You hear me, man?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you ain't ready for that kind of crap, you ain't ready for Chicago.
There you go.
I mean, it goes down so smooth and slick. So you don't know. I mean, you just don't know. Right. And then we don't tell our youth nothing. So what they gonna look for? They think things are just as they are in a newspaper.
Right. That's
the last place you want to go looking for what's going on.
Sure, and
in the black neighborhood.
Right.
You don't go to no newspaper. So, but I say all of that. I left that scene, which was quite turbulent. And I mean, my mind, I've been had. We have a Republican governor, and I've done everything. I wrote the whole script on the Harold Washington Party Rules Committee. Harold Washington Party, we had a county-wide forum where with formally laid out. I mean, it was beautiful. It's beautiful. Right. We got to some real issues.
Gotcha.
And we held it up there at 95th and Halsted. And
okay.
Reverend Fowler's, Reverend Fowler's church, I believe it was, yeah. Third Baptist. What?
Right, you're right.
Isn't that right?
That's right.
Okay, well, that's where we had it.
I know where
and that I know because, it was such a success. That was September 23rd, 1990.
Yes.
It was packed.
Really?
But anyway, I go from all of that and go to the Catholic Church, and I haven't been in the Catholic Church since I graduated in 1960 from St. Elizabeth's. Okay. And got to experience something that I had never, ever seen before. This project, which is the one I'm leaving in your hands, buddy.
All right.
Is the IOWC now, but it was then
Right.
I had to strip it to make it right for African Americans.
That's it.
Because I never brought into this bull crap, and still don't, never worked, and that's the program, the Minority Business Enterprise Program. You know, that kind of. That's about as stupid as you can possibly get. You know what I mean? And it didn't work. It still ain't worked. And we're still messing around with it. We know who it was designed for, white women. They own all the businesses. You know, so anyway, long story short is that I got into monitoring and managing the work, the varied working the crafts.
Right.
In the church. I was told that this program was designed to rehab Catholic church real estate.
Okay.
I said, no problem. My God, there's plenty of it in disrepair.
Right.
You know? And the main reason why it's in disrepair is because blacks' enrollment had decreased. Oh, man, like a big dog. I mean, you know? And it just wasn't there. You know, that's the beginning of something that I really begin to see. And now the church is going to allow us to put black men and women, contractors and whatever else they can put to work in order to increase student. That was what local union nowhere in the state of Illinois messed with us. We could do and work in peace. No involvement from organized labor. Negative involvement. If there was anything they could do, they would do. They couldn't get around the Catholic Church.
That's right.
I have never seen local unions, and I have worked for, you know, in the office, out in the field, everywhere in Chicago. And you always had problems with the local unions. You know, they won't push their stuff on you all the time. You got to be qualified. You got to go to their school. You got to do this. We didn't have any of that. But let me tell you what stopped it. It went on for a good, we had put about $6 million on the books in the first month. Because people knew what time it was. The Catholic Church is going to get long sought after repairs, needed repairs, and all that kind of stuff for less than union scale. You hear me, man? And I have never worked in an environment like that. I mean, in peace. I mean,
that's pretty good.
Hey.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Until I did one thing. I flipped the script, and I ain't going to mention the priests because they still doing the same thing. And they plastered all over as being our friends and all that kind of thing.
Yes.
They gave me all of the help I needed to get the forces. You know, this was a pilot program conducted in the 14th Deanery. That's like from 35th Street North to the lake on the east, Racine on the west, and the city limits on the south.
Wow.
Okay? That's a lot of Catholic real estate.
That's right.
No students. You know what I mean? You know, you're still gone now. You know what I mean? And these daddies and all, they ain't making no money. And they can't send kids to school. You know, they have to go to public school because they can't afford to send them nowhere else.
That's right.
The mayor, talking about Daley, and the whole group of businessmen thought it was this program, which was called Working Church Program.
That's it. You got about, I think we got about 3 minutes, 2 minutes. Okay. Can you sum it up in 2 minutes for me, Mr. Edwards? What can the International Organization of Working Churches bring to Chicago, just to this city? What can it do, unlike other organizations?
Go ahead. First of all, is black back to Chicago, back home. That's number one. The reason why they leave, they don't have no hope.
You're right on. Now, that's right.
You put these men to work, they'll be here.
Yeah, they'll come back home.
They'll be here before the weekend. They be here.
Like
you put
that.
Promise them a decent wage.
That's right.
And we act like we don't know that that's come on. You know, that mayor we got down there, boy, is pitiful.
I understand.
You understand? Mm-hmm. You know, but what broke this up was the fact that I'm going to be another minute.
Okay.
I brought in Al Sampson's church I wrote it up for needed repairs, and I ain't going to
money, huh?
And scrap over them. That's exactly what happened.
Ended like that.
Because they did not intend to remodel any black churches.
Okay.
Only Catholic church real estate.
That's it.
That's it.
I really enjoyed you.
That's right.
That's right. What I want us to do, we're going to have to bring you back, and it's going to have to be soon, because I want us to get into the operations of this International Organization of Working Churches. How will
26 years.
That's
26 years to rewrite the program to an Afrocentric perspective.
That's it. Well, we're going to keep pushing this organization throughout the summer and see where do we go from here. But it will put black people back to work and bring them back to the city. That's what I need to hear.
Watch. Keep your eye on the flag.
Okay. Certainly will.
Okay.
I certainly will. See you soon, okay?
Love you guys.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, buddy. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There you have it. The founder and the at-large president of the International Organization of Working Churches. We'll have them back here again. I have the blueprint, what the organization will be about. Next week, join me when we talk about Booker T. Washington, and I want to finish the 6 lessons that Madam C.J. Walker brought to America to help her to become successful. And we will have a local businessman who's successful here in Chicago. Our very own Mr. Martin continue to talk about our final segment on how to get more black businesses in Chicago and in America at large. See you next week. God bless you.